Welcome to The Authentic Life with KL, the podcast where we throw out the rule book, where we dive in head first to the real and raw, unapologetic journey of living the best life. That includes lots of music. This is your go-to space for empowerment, for deep healing and owning your authenticity like the boss that you are. We're here to break down walls and slay self-doubt. Vibe to the soundtrack of your soul. With every beat and lyric, we'll move through stories that heal and empower. You can live your fullest and most badass life. Welcome to The Authentic Life with KL. This episode of The Authentic Life with KL is brought to you by Break the Silence, a nonprofit created using music as a platform to raise awareness for mental health, suicide prevention, and recovery of all kinds, offering hope and starting the hard conversations to bring communities together. Hey guys, it's Kitty, and today I have with me Jonny Hetherington, the singer of Art of Dying, food creator. I've watched that journey for a little bit, and also a father of a daughter who's doing some really beautiful things. I love watching that journey. So thank you for coming on here with me.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So speaking of children, what has fatherhood taught you? Some fun things.
Oh, wow. Extraordinary amount of patience. We stopped at one, and, I'm still in awe of people that have more than one kid because it just seems baffling to me. So a lot of respect out there for multi-kid families, for sure. I think the earliest lesson I learned, and this is, if there's any new parents out there, this will help you, I think, is everything changes every 2 weeks, it seems. So if you feel yourself in a bit of a rut or like, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like? It's not going to be like that 2 weeks from now. It always changes, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. There's all these phases, and my daughter's 10 right now, going on, it seems like 20. So these are the years of, who knows what's coming, but yeah. So, it's all good though. I mean, it took us a long time to even think about having a kid because we're artists, and we, put the band and put our art careers ahead of starting a family. So, but I'm really glad we did, because it's a whole different thing, a whole different journey, which is a lot of fun.
I think I can imagine. I had my first one at 21, and then I had my second one at 28. Now I have grandchildren, but I have people my age that have still little kids, and I don't know. I think there's that balance between, like, I would be a totally different parent, probably a much better parent, more calm and more healed from an older perspective. So I think there's those balances on it. So I love to hear. Those journeys.
Yeah, we're all on different ones. So we can learn from each other along the way.
Oh gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I did want to start real quick with a little brief story about myself, because I don't know that you probably remember this because, well, you probably get this all the time, but years ago when you were really pushing out Get Through This, you had posted something about people sharing their stories, and you were going to give tickets away at a New York show. And I had posted that I had lost my brother. I had lost my brother that week. And you were like, if you can get here, they're yours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to go, because that song, of course, was so impactful for me. And I wasn't able to go, but I just wanted to tell you that glimmer of like kindness from someone gave that glimmer, of there's good out there, even in the darkest time. So know that you're impactful.
Wow, thank you. That's cool.
Yeah.
I do kind of have a faint memory of that New York moment. And so, I mean, it's too bad you couldn't make it that time, but I know what you mean. Like, it's just that little act of kindness goes a long way, even if you can't make the show.
Yeah, it really does. And I had thought I was going to be able to, but my brother had children and all that different kind of stuff. So it just wasn't in the cards, but it was meant for what it was meant. And it really was a shining light there. So I thank you for that. And thank you for being a kind human. Many times, though, people are looking for those glimmers of hope. What are some things that inspire you and give you that?
Just my own journey has been really important. Get Through This was about my dad and his actual survival of cancer, and then he did succumb to cancer 10 years later. So it's a rough one for me now to have that journey with him. The success and then the ultimate passing. So that song has just been special, in every sort of way possible for me. So I'm inspired by his story. I'm inspired by people's stories out there that fight through impossible odds and fight through impossible illness. And you're right, like writing a song like that means you get to hear a lot of those stories, because it does come up a lot when we're on the road, and I get to hear some good ones, and to me, that's what music's always been about, is inclusion, sharing my story. Hopefully people get something from out of it, and that circle of, community and art all coming together is important. So that's kind of the whole point, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one of my questions, is when you write, do you write from experiences, or are they written from stories? I know different people write, for different reasons. And that was one of my questions, if you wrote from experiences.
For sure. Yeah. And a lot of it is just inner struggle, I'm often inspired by the human spirit, just that we're all in these different struggles along the way, and all of them at different, what's important to me might not be important to you, or vice versa, but we're in the struggle. And I feel like I've been really fortunate in my life to follow my dreams, to do for a career what makes me happy. But I have tough days, where I feel like crap, and so I think to myself, if I feel like, what a shitty day, this really sucks, how am I going to get through this day? And then I think about people that maybe are way less fortunate than me, and their day, and the amount of crap they have to put up with. So the human spirit really speaks volumes.
It does. It does. Were those crows?
Yeah.
Okay.
My place, I'm in Vancouver. It just started to rain. My place is kind of on the crow's path. So
crows are like my spirit animal, that like every time I hear them or see them, I know I'm on the right path. So that's funny. I love it.
That's awesome. Crows are
my thing.
They've been special to Art of Dying too. Along the way, we've had a lot of crows in our artwork, and a lot of just moments in our lives where crows did weird stuff that freaked us out, and I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan as well. So like The Raven, and just lots of whenever I can sneak a crow into anything or a raven, I'm there.
I'm the same way. I do a lot of teaching within a community, and I talk a lot about empowerment and healing, and of course grief, because when you've been through it, you feel like you don't want other people to go through it in the same way either. And that's something that they'll be like, Kitty, did you send your crows over here? Is that why they're here? So they always know. But crows and a wolf, that I love that I heard them. That's special. That's special. For me.
They're cool birds, man. Cool animals. They do a lot of crazy stuff. If you search, intelligent crows on YouTube, you get your mind blown pretty quick.
Yeah, I have a venture this summer. I have a family of crows that live outside my home, and they're always there. And I'm like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you and give you some gifts, and, all those different things that people do for the crows, because I am like a child. I will run outside and talk to them. So
I was mistaken. This is like 2 weeks ago. I was walking down the street in Vancouver, and I was, I guess, mistaken for a nest, because a crow just out of nowhere, like busy public street, just bombed me, and both talons like went into my scalp.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what the I thought it was a human pushing me from behind. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's a crow like trying to get into its.
You're like, listen.
Like, dude, I know.
I don't have your babies here. It's not here. I love
Maybe
it.
I do. I don't know. What's in there?
I love it. I have naturally curly hair, so I get like the whole thing. I always say mine looked like curly fries. When I was young, it would look like curly fries.
Nice. You're
Um,
making me hungry.
uh, is being a musician something you always wanted to do? Is it just something that like you fell
Making
into?
making music?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was early. Kind of like my daughter. She came to me and my wife when she was 3 and said, "I want to be an opera singer." And she had just heard the Queen of the Night aria from the Magic Flute, that famous, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
And later that day, she could sing a lot of the parts, and I was blown away because it's a really challenging, super high soprano opera. So I recognized that, not only if you want to be an opera singer, you probably can because you have this crazy range at age 3, and
wow.
now she's 10, and she's actually in her she'll be in her seventh and eighth operas coming up soon. So it's been a crazy journey for her. And I knew early too. Like I found my place singing at home. Just there's a lot of music in my family, and then I was launched onto the stage in like grade 2, 3. I was hosting. I was the kid that when the gym teacher was late for class and there's like 60 students on the bleachers sitting there, I'm singing to all of them. Like
Oh,
I'm just singing to everybody, and like we're killing 15 minutes because the teacher's not there. And the next thing you know, I was doing, musical theater, and then I just knew as soon as I discovered songwriting and accompanying myself, then I was like, oh yeah, I really want to start a band. I grew up in a province in Canada called Alberta, which is a lot like Texas. If you go down, it's kind of like Montana,
okay.
Texas. It's kind of all that vibe. And honestly, I felt like needed to get out of there. I loved it, but I needed to get to a creative, like one of the coasts. So had my eye on Vancouver or Toronto, and just headed out.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I wanted to
Get
start a
out.
band, move to
Go do.
Vancouver.
Now, did it start with Art of Dying, your first band, or did that progress?
No, yeah, my first bands were in high school, so they were, no one's ever heard of them. They had like terrible names, and we did, cover songs and just the whole thing. I think I've gone through every possible band. I'm still friends with people from every band I've been in my life. Like it's always a special thing. But when I moved to Vancouver, I really started just playing. Actually, funny story. The band I moved out there with, they couldn't take it and they quit and left. So it was like, okay, we all moved out to Vancouver, and as a lot of people do in Canada, because it's just a nice spot and it's warm, and the beaches are great. So, but these guys all decided basically when summer was over, they're like, well, we're going back to our real lives. And this was a fun fling. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm staying. Like, I'm not going anywhere. So I started playing guitar on the street, just learning to sing and accompany myself with guitar,
Oh,
an acoustic. And that's how I met Greg from Art of Dying. He followed my voice one night with a couple of buddies, and they approached me, and I was just sitting there on the street corner singing. And the next day, they invited me to come jam with them, and that was the very first incarnation of Art of Dying.
I
We were
love that.
called we were called Sun Like Star for many years, and we changed it when the music started to change. We were we went through a very electronic phase, so we were kind of mixing a lot of synth sounds with rock, and then we kind of phased that out and got back to our roots, and we decided we needed to flip. I had a song title called Art of Dying, and then that led to just the band name being changed. So I think that was around 2006 ish. Actually, the first record we ever recorded, the green self-titled Art of Dying album, we'll get through this and completely and those songs on it. When we were recording that in the studio, we were still called Sun Like Star on the monitor, and then halfway through the recording of that album, we changed the band name. But I think I still have some of the 2-inch tapes and stuff that still say Sun Like Star on them instead of Art of
I
Dying.
love that. Yeah, I was trying to figure out in my mind, like right now, how long ago that was, because I remember the first time that my husband and I saw you because I'm pretty sure it was at Rocklahoma, I think, because we couldn't
Okay.
go one year, or it was at a festival, and I live in Oklahoma. But we remember seeing you and we were like, who is that guy? His voice is amazing. It looks like a vampire. He should be from the Lost Boys or something like that. And ever since that moment, we have been, really inspired by a lot of your lyrics. And it's always been, especially that album with Completely and God for a Day. Those are all so impactful for so many
Oh,
people.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Those are it's nice to know, that the lyrics, especially because lyrics for me, that's like it's so important. It's just the words. There's nothing more important to me in songwriting than words. I used to have arguments with band members about this because it's just like, no, man, like the song's the song, the music's the song, the melody's the song, and I'm not, this is my age old argument, but I find that they all do add up to a great song. You need all the pieces to fit, but lyrics just it touches me more than everything else.
Yeah, no, me too. I will always tell everyone I'm a lyrics girl, and I'm friends with some other songwriters and stuff, and they'll send me the lyrics and I'm like, we knew you'd like this. But my husband, he plays guitar, so you know what he hears when he hears music, he only hears guitar. And so
Yeah,
I'm like, you can show it to me and it's great, but there is something really special about really great lyrics that paint this picture, because I could never meditate on my own, but songs take me through a kind of meditation. And I think you can hear the same song 100,000 times and you will find times that it means something totally different. So it's very much a spiritual experience on levels for me as well.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah. Um, I use the phrase a lot, especially when I'm talking about mental health and suicide awareness and things like that, that a lyric can be a lifeline. Do you have a song that you feel like was that for you, even if it's not one you wrote? Is there a song from an artist or one that you've written that has been really impactful for you?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's a song that I heard personally. I think there's the record that I heard was Pearl Jam 10.
Mm.
That record kind of changed the way I listened to music, and it kind of changed the way I listened to lyrics and singers, and that whole album just kind of gave me this lifeline, I guess you would say. Like it just gave me this artistic freedom to want to do something a little deeper and dive a little deeper in my own music. So that's probably the one that really did a number
I
on
did
me.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that music saves so many people, and I think artists, at least some that I'm closer with, that they don't understand the impact that they can have with their words. So I love that you're a lyric person, because I don't take that lightly on that. So many will say it's just a song, and I'm like, don't say it's just a song. It's not just a song, because it really can make a difference in someone's life. Um,
totally. I actually have a little ongoing battle with that because, I like to write songs. I guess I grew up, my parents were both United Church ministers, so I grew up in it wasn't a strict religious background, but there was this hopefulness to their lives and their career choice, and I bring that to music a lot naturally, but I always kind of find myself. I think the hopeful songs that I've written for Art of Dying kind of filter to the top because I think all the band members have been on that journey, and they're like, they feel it's important too, like that there's some hope in the music. But when I write for myself, there's a lot of songs that are dark and are exploring the weaknesses and not necessarily the get through this kind of thing. It's more like, fuck, this sucks, and why do I feel so shitty about this, and I'm always a little hesitant to put those out because I don't want to cause a negative reaction. So
Sure.
This is my precursor for if those songs come out, which they will, probably along the way. When they do, it's for me, it's a togetherness that we're all, it's okay to feel that way. You know, it's not, it's okay to question that you're feeling like crap. And it's okay to, and it's definitely good to know that others are in the same boat as you. So, but that's kind of this, I'm always, because sometimes those songs come out of me feeling really aggressive and angry. And I don't want that to necessarily be the end message
Yeah.
unless that is cathartic and makes you feel good too.
Yeah. No,
Definitely makes me
I
feel good when I'm writing it.
Yeah, no, I get that because sometimes when I'm teaching, like well, and I think especially in the world that I live in, as far as like empowerment and like, you can heal and all these things. And I think there's this mixed message, like you said, that everything is happy. We can only talk about happy. When you heal, when you grow through things, when you change, when you get older, everything's happy. And no, right? It's not. It can be a journey. And I think it'd be beautiful that you have songs that are a little darker. I get the hesitancy though, because it's like, I don't want to be responsible for you going darker because you listen to this, but it's all these shared human emotions. And that's part of the podcast is just like, we're all like one, when it comes down to it. And we all share all the same emotions somewhere along the line. So
Sure.
yeah, I
Yeah,
look
I
forward
feel
to
like
that.
it's community that really helps. So I'm glad you're part of one because part of many. But it's feeling alone that in this world where you really get lost. So let's get lost together is kind of the good theme, right? Is like
Mm,
it doesn't have
yeah.
to be a solo journey, even though you feel like it.
Yeah, it's true. We recently were invited to Break the Silence, which is a music festival in Colorado, and I'm going to go and interview people, for their stories of recovery and things like that. But the community that I have is going to make a difference and pass out like words of hope and different things like that, just to make a difference, so they know that there's a place, because that's something that's so important.
Cool.
Um, so I'm fascinated by your new release. The new release, it's all a prayer because I haven't ever heard it put that way. But do you mind sharing a little bit of the backstory of that?
Yeah, not at all. Again, it's surrounding my father, which is, he's been gone almost 10 years now. And I have a lot of anger about that because I lost my dad when he was 72. And as thankful as I am that I had those 72 years with him, I see my friends talking about doing stuff with their dads and stuff. And it's just like, just kind of, makes me, pisses me off that I didn't get another 20 years. So at his wake, it was crazy. We were on tour when he passed, and I was in Texas and got a phone call from my mom, and we, cried on the phone together for half an hour while we were just traveling on the bus. And they, luckily enough, our tour was coming up through Canada, so they kind of arranged the funeral to be on a day where we were close by. So I got to go basically to my dad's funeral and celebration of life and wake with all my friends, my bandmates, and it was really special. After the big celebration of life, we all went back to my mom's house and had just kind of a party, and got out guitars and sang a lot of songs and smiled and cried and celebrated. And at one point, his coworker was another minister that he worked closely with. She just a really wise individual. Very every time I'm around her, I just feel calm, and she's just an amazing person. But she said, "Jonathan, I want to tell you a story, and about your father." And I said, "Yeah, bring it on," And she said, "There was this one Sunday where we were just about to go into the sanctuary and start the church service, and I had realized that I had forgotten to write the prayer, and this is, I guess, the most important part of the church service is the prayer. It needs to be super thought out and well written and make sense and give people hope and the whole thing. And my dad, she's telling me the story. My dad looked up at her and just said, "Nancy, it's all a prayer." And she just, in this moment of him, consoling her for, don't worry about it, but also, isn't everything we're doing a prayer about, so don't worry about it. And I just thought, I wrote it down right away. I'm like, well, that's a title for me. Like, it's all a prayer. What a beautiful thing. And I tried to write it many times and never could give it justice or do it justice until recently. And I just kind of dug in, and I was thinking of it as a ballad, and then I'm like, no, this doesn't need to be a ballad. This can be a rock song. And then I often, when I'm hitting my head against the wall with writing, I'll try the song in different time signatures. So I'll throw it into a 3/4 instead of a 4/4. And then I stumbled upon the shuffle. And we've been trying to write a shuffle forever. We never succeed at writing shuffles. And when I shot it over to Tapas, he was like, "I love it. Let's do this. Finally a shuffle that works." So we were really excited about just that, the nuts and bolts of the song working. But I was really excited that I finally got to tell this personal story within that structure. Yeah. So it just came out it's 2 weeks out now or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I love go check it out for sure. It's really what I love. I love a lot about it, but one thing that I love about it is from, say, my perspective of listening to it. I know everybody will have a little bit of a different thing that they get from it, but for me, I always tell everyone, because our community initially, when I started, was called Blend Your Spirit, because it was all about everybody's beliefs, but we're all still together. And I've always said, like, it's just all the same thing. Like, it's all the same thing. Like, you could call it prayer, you could call it intention, you could call it mantras, but when you're speaking and you're living your life, it really is. And so I found that really intriguing. And then I also love the artwork too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the artwork's fun. Why do you think that music and mental health and connection are so intertwined together?
There's nothing more special than music. We even just with sci-fi movies and stuff, it always comes up that, how are we going to talk to this alien civilization? It's got to be music. And I think it's honestly, it really is that special, that it's universal to every human that's existed, and probably a few ravens as well. It's actually, it's song is so important to who we are. And I often think about countries and borders and how we cut each other off from each other. And this country celebrates its music in a closed shell, and this country celebrates its music in a closed shell. And then obviously it's not with popular music, with rock and roll and stuff, that's not a problem, because we have, worldwide releases and stuff. But through our history, like, every human culture has embraced music, and it's as ubiquitous as laughing or smiling or crying. Like, there's no culture that doesn't do these things, and music seems to fall right in there. So it's amazing to me that it is this beautiful, whether you speak the language or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you're the creator or not, it doesn't matter. The listener, the participant, if you joined a drum circle on the beach and you're just one drum in 100, it's amazing. So that goes right along with mental health. I can't see, any more positive thing than music to get someone feeling a little bit better. There's a lot of great organizations. There's a really good one actually in Vancouver. A friend of mine runs a nonprofit called Music Heals, and it's all about healing, through music and using music as a tool to bring people together. And yeah, I think they're intertwined, definitely.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Well, what do you have coming up for Art of Dying or for yourself?
Well, we're plugging away at new songs all the time. We've kind of reached this, dare I say, comfortable spot where we can just create at our own discretion.
That's great.
So it's been it's been pretty cool to, because we went through the indie thing where we were grinding away for so many years, and that's where we learned a lot of our good habits, to be honest. And then we signed to Warner Brothers and made that big record, and went through that whole journey of what's it like to be on a major label. Then we signed with Better Noise in New York and made a record with those guys, and we got to experience how it is making a record with a major indie kind of, and now we're at this spot where we can just do whatever we want, which is pretty fun to just say. It's more of a pure form again of just and with technology catching up, now we can write a song and release it 6 or 8 weeks later, so I don't think there's ever been a time in music when the listener can get so close to the author's time frame. Because Get Through This, was written so long ago, and a lot of people didn't hear it till it came out in 2012, which it was already a song for 6 years, and then we toured that for 5 years. So there's lots of times people have heard that song for the first time, and it's 20 years old.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
Which is awesome in its own right. But the distance between when I wrote it and when that person's hearing it is 20 years. And now it can be 2 months.
Yeah,
so it's
the
kind
processes are a lot different, aren't they?
Yeah. And just, I guess we're just, to be honest, after you write a song, some songs, you kind of even just forget. You're like, shit, what did I write that about again? Like, I can't even remember. That was just a jam. Was that a jam? Did we, did that come, where did that come from? So, but now when you're able to write something and put it out quickly, you can tell exactly what it's about, because it's only, 6 weeks old. So it's kind of like you're still on the same wavelength.
Still there with it. Yeah. Same timeline of everything. Where can everyone find you? I know that you have all the social media, but do you have a website, or where can people find your music?
Yeah, I mean, I just tell people to search Art of Dying, and it usually pops up. Whether it's our website is basically our merch store, which is the best way to support us, is pick up a signed record or a hoodie or whatever. And then Instagram's kind of where we do most of our social networking, Facebook a little bit too. I like to jump on and do live piano videos every now and then, where we kind of just write a song in a live stream and kind of just get into a moment. So that's kind of a fun social media thing to do. So I think Instagram. I don't know if I do that on Facebook or
just search him. Just search him. Go find him and listen to the new music and the old. Yes. I love it. Find all their music, the old and new. Like, there's great. I also love Nevermore. That's one that's on my from the new stuff. That's not just because it's called Nevermore. I really love that song. Yeah,
back to the Poe references. Back to the yeah. That one was cool to write. I wrote it. I was in Mexico, and I had Tavis on a whatever feed, and we had our friend Mark Holman on another feed, and we just wrote that in an afternoon. I was staring out at this beautiful beach, and it came together real quick. Tavis was going through a rough patch with a girl, and we just dug right into all the issues, and it came out pretty good. I love how it came out. Yeah.
Great song. Great song.
Mark Holman we wrote that whole record with him, the Nevermore record. And he's just shot up into he's just a massive writer producer now, but he's such a gem to work with. And we're lucky we caught him in his early days, because it was just, we created some good music with him.
Love it. Well, I always end the podcast with the question of if someone came to you and they were struggling with their mental health, what words of wisdom would you give after all your wisdom that you've received over the years?
You're not alone. That's what it all boils down to, and maybe that comes from my upbringing, because that was a theme within my parents' religious background too, was you're not alone. But I feel like that's, if I ran into anyone that was in trouble, I would give them a hug and let them know you're not alone.
Yeah, I think there's more needed of that, because we are very separated. I know you talked about countries and their music, but even down to our homes and everything, we're so much separated as a society now. So I love that.
Yeah, it's getting I find with social media the way it is now, and with consumption of film and TV through Netflix and all these things, we are shutting ourselves in a lot more. It's easy, right? It's easy to lock your door and put on Netflix and not bother with anything else. So, let's get out there, and we're kind of missing. Yeah, concerts are one of the best ways to get out there, because you get into a community, like-minded, maybe not like-minded, who knows? You just get out, see some music. I'm going to see Tom Morello this week, and I'm just can't wait. It's going to be
there's nothing better than being in a crowd of people that you don't have to know them, but you all speak the same language, because you're right there for the same reason and the energy is all the same. So it's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here. I appreciate it, and look forward to watching you guys continue to grow.
Yeah, we'll have another song for you here pretty soon, but go check out It's All a Prayer for now, and then our subscribers list is the best way to stay in touch with Art of Dying. So subscribe to our email list, and you'll get little more important stuff that we're sending out via email, and then you'll know when all the new Art of Dying's come out.
The Authentic Life with KL and Break the Silence are two healing missions aligning to support mental health, all wellness and recovery, offering hope and amplifying the light.